Next up in my Colorado trip series, I'm headed to Mosquito Pass. Mosquito Pass is located just east of Leadville, Colorado, and is found between Leadville and Alma, Colorado. You can approach Mosquito Pass from either east or west. I chose from the west from Leadville and ascended up the summit that way. As I approached, I took a right-hand turn onto a smaller side road thinking that was the best way to get to the pass. However, I would not take that road. I would continue left and, as you see in the map, continue on until you see that mining tower. Once you see the mining tower, there'll usually be a locked gate preventing you from going straight, so at that point you hang a left, and at that point you're on the Mosquito Pass Trail. However, I didn't know that I took the side road like I said, so the footage you see here is me climbing up, not the main way to get up there. I would not recommend this way. If you look a little closer at this map, you'll see there's a better way to do it. Follow the blue line until you get to that red dot on the map. You'll see there's that tower that's labeled as Evans Gulch number 2 reservoir on or near the map. Use that and then continue up the orange dotted line to get to the pass. I blame this mistake on not paying enough attention and also a late night night for Keystone at the Goat Bar. However, it was still bright and early, so I came back down the rocky road I went up first, stayed left what is now right at the junction, headed for that tower on the map, and then continued on up the hill as planned. At this point, I'll probably stop talking for a bit. You can hear nature and see how difficult, or in a lot of cases not difficult, this trail is for the first half. You can go up pretty darn far to get a great view of the lake and that tower, even something like a Subaru Outback or a Ford Crown Victoria. However, at some point where I'll step in again with my voiceover, you'll see there's some pretty difficult stretches of round rubble and big boulders that you have to drive over. Up until that point, I'll point out, I was in two-wheel drive on highway tire pressures. Okay, up until about this point, I've been in two-wheel drive on highway. Throughout the entire trip, I did not lower my tire pressure at all. I stayed at full tire pressure. I knew in a couple couple hours I'd be back on the highway. However, at this point, after a few attempts to get up this stretch of rocky boulders, I did give up and finally went low, and from that point I was in four-wheel drive the whole rest of the way. At this point I should probably point out what kind of tires I'm on in case you're curious. I'm running Nokian rock-proof tires on this trip, size 285 70/17. I bought them a couple years ago and I don't think they're for sale anymore, unfortunately. I wasn't particularly looking for them, I just happened to find them for really cheap on closeout, did some research, and I was super impressed with their capabilities and how the reviews were at the time. So I bought them and put them on over a year ago. They've been great ever since. Super noisy. The more I off-road on them, the noisier they get. So they are mud terrain style tires, even though they're called rock tires. They're very mud terrain, very big gaps, tread chunks. So they are noisy. However, on this trip and many other trips I've had, sand, mud, rock, dirt, they've been fantastic in terms of grip. I would totally recommend them, but like I said, I don't even know if they're available anymore. With the stock tire pressures, they were of course a little bumpy. It was a little bit of a rough ride, so I'm sorry for some of the camera shake, but they did not fail me. They never gave me a puncture or anything like that, so I've been super happy with the Nokian rock tires. My assessment of this trail was excellent. It gets full marks for views, full marks for scenery. I like that it wasn't busy, even on a Saturday morning on a beautiful summer day. I only saw one other person and they were walking on foot, so that part's cool. I will say it's a little challenging. The higher you get, the more rough the trail gets, and if your vehicle is not stable in, say, four-wheel low with lots of ground clearance, you're going to rub here and there, and even worse, I'd be concerned you might slide off to the side and hopefully not over a cliff. So I would say it's more treacherous than it is challenging, but there are challenging parts that a high clearance four-wheel drive vehicle would be very much suited for and required, I'd say. Do not take your mom's Subaru Outback all the way to the top, in other words. And here is a special treat, a visit from a little local marmot, I believe they're called. There's quite a few of them on this mountain and other mountains in the area, but it was still cool to see one so up close and for so long. Also, in case you're wondering, I use the OSM app on Android. That is, to spell it again, OSM in case it's hard to find. It's been a fantastic and relatively cheap app. It allows you to pre-download maps offline beforehand, which I did at the hotel before for Colorado. And that enabled me to not only see where I am at any point using GPS and the maps embedded graphics, but it even gave me turn-by-turn navigation up to the top, which I thought was pretty cool. Was it perfect? No. There was a few points where the trail in real life diverted to the left to avoid some treacherous stretches, whereas the navigation system told me to go straight on the part that's closed. So that's one problem, but again, I forgive that one. The other problem I would say was the time it estimated to arrive at this off-road destination was pretty optimistic. I don't fault it too much because it's off-road. This system might not know the difference between a groomed gravel or smooth dirt road versus a very rocky uphill trail. So not criticizing the system. I love OSM AND, but you may or may not have noticed that the ETA did not essentially match my arrival time, and that's okay. Having made it to the top, I was super excited. I had this goal in mind for days of making it to the top of Mosquito Pass, knowing I had to be at the airport to pick up some family members in a few hours. So, not the best scenario to be off roading at a place for the first time because you feel rushed and you feel a little bit pressured to make the goal. However, I was happy, happy, happy to see I made it to the top. No damage, no problems at all. And once I got to the top, I jumped out of my vehicle, ran around taking video and pictures because I was so excited to see the scenery and was promptly out of breath. Seriously, I got lightheaded. I live in Chicago. I was not used to the 13,000 feet elevation. So, for you flatlanders like me, if you're here for the first time, don't feel like you can jump out and run to the top of the peak or do some climbing or anything like that. Take it easy, be careful. Even on the descent down, I got a little nervous and I guess you could even say scared at times that I was going to wreck my vehicle. And I got a little lightheaded and started seeing stars to some extent. So I stopped, put it in park, put the handbrake on, and was very careful to recover before I continued on. Just be warned. So as you can see, I've started my journey back down again. The descent is, as you have read in repair manuals before, the descent is just the ascent in reverse. So take it easy. Remember, gravity's working for you, but also if your brakes fail or you're going too fast, it works against you. So take it easy. Use low range if you have it. Lock it into a low gear if you want, first or second, and that helps you get down a little more carefully and more in control. I had no problems on this trip, would highly recommend the Mosquito Pass, and if anybody has any questions about it, feel free to hit me up in the comments, and thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more videos on this Colorado trip that are coming up soon.